Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So I am here to get this 250,589 liters of canola sold. You can see at this point the high price in November is supposed to be $7.10. We're higher than that almost everywhere. Some of this ends up being, is it really worth driving to certain places? Reverend Grain's not that far, and that's close enough to the top that I think I can go and, for the extra $10 per thousand, it's going to get me 2,500, I'm not sure, $2,500, so it's probably worthwhile. But this is going to be the first attempt to utilize my silo to get things out of. So we're going to go in the other entrance here, if I can get in there. It's definitely a little bit of a tight fit here, but there we go. And because it's coming out through multiple pipes at once, as far as at the top, it fills quite quickly. So that's pretty nice to see. I don't think I can get under multiple. Maybe I'll try a different positioning next time to see if I can get it pouring out of two locations. But basically the best case would be if I could get hobos. It's literally right there. But if I can't, going ahead and getting up in this area will certainly be good. So I've got a little bit more money in here than last time. Got the payment from J-Dude for all the work I did for 3 different points in Poppenberger. So slowly getting my balance back up. Obviously I've got more things I want to buy. I certainly would like to get a bigger truck, or a truck at all. So Reverend Grain we can see over there in the distance. It's kind of up and over the hill. It's that large area there. Further over to the east is Bubba Gump, which is where I was delivering milk to all the time. And then Dragon, which was another one, is the one that was up near fields 24-25 that used to be my home on FSN on this map. But as you can see, this isn't too bad, and certainly as over time I get better transportation options, this becomes a pretty good option in general. The challenge with this location on the map is more the store than anything else. Sell points are pretty prolific down here, so that is a good thing. But we're going to start getting this going, and we'll see what we end up with over time. But we should be at 737. And, that's where we're at. And in theory, it's rising. But it's also, in theory, going to go down in December. This is where it's a little bit of just a complete anybody's guess type thing that you're doing if you continue to sit and wait. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So as you can see, we're already up to 191,000. I really need, I know that trailer was, 227, or maybe it was 277. I think it might be 277 at the largest configuration. And then I need, another couple 100,000 to get the truck. So it really becomes a little bit of the question of, if I have enough for one, do I get one and just let it sit around? But it's not as if I can haul the trailer without a truck, and if I don't have a truck and I don't have any trailer to haul, it's somewhat useless. So it would seem that those two would make sense to purchase together. Now, I can also obviously keep a lookout and see if I could find something on the used market or on the player market, but just not sure how that's going to play out. But the silo looks like it works pretty nicely. Yeah, I just don't know that this trailer's long enough to get under two points together. Like I can't see appropriately, I guess. Let me see if I do this. Because it looks like it's just such a hard thing to get the angle on. Like in theory, I'm not in the building yet, I don't think. So I'm taking longer than I need to because some of this is just testing. So I'm definitely under with that spigot. Okay, so yes, I'm at this point definitely under 2 of them. So let's see if this does anything different. It does not. So it just looks like the center spigot is where we're triggering no matter what. So I think this is just the speed that it works at. It just makes it look like there could be other things, but not sure that that's really the case. You know, I can try maybe to just barely pull in and see if I get it out of 1, but I think I'm always going to come out of 1. Whoop. What did I get hooked on there? Interesting. Well, that's going to become a problem. I guess that's the bit of a challenge with the with this setup, is you've got to be really careful because it's pretty tight in there for the ability to move around. So was not expecting that. But once again, like, there are flared things on this trailer. That's a little bit of the problem. You know, and once again, it may be that I use different trailers to collect on the field than I do to sell. Probably not. But I would think the trailer for the truck would be thinner, because I think really all it is the wheels stick out here. I've got that, in essence, the fenders over the wheels. I think that's what caught me. But yeah, I wasn't really watching to see what my situation was as far as what I received, because it was 168, 191, so it's like $25,000 or so, I think, is what I ended up with. So that would mean, because I'm going to have, what, 4? I'm going to have 6 and a little bit more loads. So I would have about 125,000, so it would get me, you know, basically half the way to what I need for the trailer, for example. But obviously I'm going to continue to keep doing work as well for folks, so I'll be able to continue to keep making some money there. So I'm feeling, you know, like by next harvest I should be in pretty good shape, I think, to have a truck. So there you go, we're getting almost 30,000. And it's always possible because the prices are dynamic. Yeah, it's 738 now, so I got a little bit more, and now it's saying it's stable. Whoop, I just saw there was a fence. I was like, maybe I shouldn't cut through the lawn there. I was worried I was gonna have a bit of a crash, but it didn't happen. But probably safer to go out and around. It just seemed like it was close enough to get over there. But once it rises, it's likely going to fall. So you've kind of got an idea of where I'm headed with the pricing. Not sure what else I'll be able to pull in, if I'll just wait until I start planting in the spring to wrap this episode up. I've definitely been obviously combining multiple days at times because depending on what is occurring, it's just a lot of the same type of work. So I just want to make sure I'm giving you some content that makes sense, but also obviously not oversaturating with a lot of the same things where not much is occurring. So at this point, obviously, you know I'm going to be running back and forth. Yeah, that other side where I'm dumping it is certainly much wider than this. See, so like now, yeah, see, like it's not actually triggered here. I'm just going a little bit. There we go. So I think that center point is the only place that the silo will work, which is all right. I mean, it makes sense. You know, I wasn't expecting, oh gee, I can have this larger thing, and maybe with a larger trailer somehow, if it's spread around enough, it will operate differently. I don't know. That was much cleaner. But this will have taken us down to 120,000 now that will be delivered or sold, and that means we have 130,000 left to be sold. So I'm going to keep doing that. I'll obviously be in excess of 300,000 by the time I'm done. So as I said, I'll be in a position to buy one thing, but not the other. So it probably makes sense to go ahead and wait until I have things, you know, unless of course I come across something on the open market that would work a little bit better. So, and is a better deal, then it makes sense at that point to take advantage of a discount. But I'm going to work on this, and I will see you in a little bit. So here, next physical day, I'm actually on server 29 here, which is the server I was on with Schwag way back. It's county line. And I'm here on Judd's farm. He has moved from Westby to this map. I think he's still got, I don't know if he still has fields on Westby. He did the one day. He asked me to work for him, and then I showed up on this server. He's like, no, on my old fields. So I went back, and I think I was plowing those that day for a little bit. But figured I'd give this a shot. I might have some work that I can do on Poppenberger. I am not sure. But I just figured I'd do this. I haven't done sunflowers in a while, so I know if there's stuff on Poppenberger, it's, you know, harvesting the soy and all that, which is great. I just don't know that was of more interest today than not. All right, I thought this field was starting to feel like it was tipped, and it is. So a little bit of a hill there. So he's got field 22 and 30 now. I think he said he had 100 acres of sunflowers and 220 of soy, but this field and field 30, and I'm a little turned around here as to where I actually am. But 30 is like northwest, so like now we're heading southwest, so I guess 30 I think is over there. It's also sunflower, so it seems like a heck of a lot more than 100 acres of sunflower. So I don't know if maybe he reversed things and it was 100 acres of soy and 220 of sunflower, but he had them on separate lines, and you would think it was all straight, but in the end it doesn't matter. It's going to take me the time it takes, or I'll be able to give the time I have to give. I just still trying to get myself positioned and figured out what I need to go ahead and do. So I definitely want to place a few things on my farm. I need the repair station, as I talked about. So I need the repair item, and certainly a wash station would be nice so that I have a good start on just the maintenance stuff of the farm. That is always a good thing to do, and certainly the base maintenance is critical. We've got, and this would be very hard to test, so I'm not even going to bother to take anybody other than at their word on this, but FOC, I guess, has a higher maintenance burden if you let your equipment progress too far down the list, like basically beyond. Most farmers ask you to do it by the time you hit 9%, so I don't know if 10% is the magic number, or what it is, but that's a critical thing. I let mine get to 14 the first time. It didn't seem terrible. I think I still paid under $2,000 to repair the harvester, which, you know, it is a $300,000 harvester, so I mean that still was over 5% of its value. So maybe if I had done it at 9%, it would have been like well under $1,000 and would have just been a few $100s, and then maybe it doubled going from 9 to 14. I don't know. So I had to stop once so far, so I've got a truck set up on the other end. It was a little bit of fun to get up there, but just running around. He suggested I use the line he has set here, which is what I have, so I did not set this GPS line. This is a GPS line that he's got called Judd, surprisingly. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and cut a little bit more, or at least cut here. It's hard to figure out when I want to stop, because the roads are like, there's enough room, but maybe I need to do it later. I was gonna go around a second time, but it's really that. I see there's a fence on the other side. I'm like, because it looked like just a hedgerow, and I'm like, really? It's not going to let me get through that? But that was something different than what I expected. So, alright, we'll do this. We'll see where that gets us. I'm not going to go all the way, obviously, because I'm already at 73%. We've got another truck there behind the second harvester, so I'm assuming if he gets someone else on, you know, he's got that set up for that reason. You know, but what I need to figure out, yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense. And it probably would work for both fields. So, yeah, I don't think I can go all the way through, so maybe what I'll do is I'll just, like, clean up a little bit of the stuff here, and then I can cut through on this line and then do this little piece and then kind of go across bigger passes. So I think that's how I'm going to work the field at this point. But, you know, I'll get this little bit done here, empty myself, and then jump in to do that. But you know, there's a little bit of me. I'm probably going to take a peek and see what they've got on Poppenberger, simply because I make more per hour over there. So if I find, I'm not willing or can't spend a lot of time today, that maybe I can at least maximize what I'm getting paid, which is, you know, how things work, obviously. Alright, not too terribly loud of a truck. I'm still trying to figure things out. I did price out my trucks, or my truck setup, so again, having, you know, this at full capacity, which is the 150, and then a truck at the high horsepower, which is well over 1,000 horsepower in some cases. You can get one that's 1,400, some of them are 1,100, but they're the same price. So I'm not quite sure why you wouldn't get the biggest one. You could, but you know, I'm sure it's just preference of what people like or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead here, jump in, and then yeah, it should be good. And then, as I said, what I'll do is I'll kind of cut through, and then my hope is that I can make it. The other thing I was gonna do, because yeah, this is a 12-meter header, I'm assuming. I'm guessing that these can be pressed up a bit, so I'll go ahead and I'll do that. Sunflower headers, like I said, they just mess you up because it makes you look like you are not down on the ground. But, you know, and the explanation they gave was, well, you're kind of really, you're pulling the seeds off of the head of the sunflower, and so realistically, like, you are cutting, you know, you can see where the stalks are left, so you're not dragging along the ground like you would with a grain header, where you're trying to get every little bit of the plant so that the field is cleared in a different way. I don't think you use the stalks in wheat. Again, I'm not a farmer in real life, so I don't know. I've not done that kind of analysis or research, but not sure how that works. But it just always confuses the heck out of me when I go ahead and do that. So you've got an idea what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, I'll keep you informed, as I always do when I get back, what was done, what I have coming potentially. But what I'm trying to do is, because of that truck setup, you know, it is 270 and 270, so I really need like 540,000 at minimum. It's actually like 277, so I mean, if we're being real, I probably need closer to 560. And I'm just barely shy of 350,000, so I still need like another 200,000. I made about 170,000 off the field with the canola when all was said and done, so that was pretty good. But that gets you up to speed. I'm going to keep plowing along. I'll see you in a bit. Just wanted to pop in really quickly here as I continue to work and acknowledge my own stupidity here. I was looking at the map about ready to harvest, and both fields were yellow. Hence, I'm like, he just has a lot of sunflowers or something. They're both yellow because that they needed to be harvested, but when I went back to the crop screen, I realized, oh yes, the one I was on was yellow, and this one was the kind of drab green that soybeans are on the FS map. So these are clearly soybeans. These are not sunflowers. So I am on here. Probably have another 15-20 minutes that I'm going to spend. So I am not going to get this anywhere near done, but at least I've gotten a decent start. You know, gotten around the edges here, starting to cut across, and can make it pretty well, so we'll see how things go. But I will keep going along until I feel that I need to pull away. But just happy that I can make this progress for them and get going. But nobody else has been on. I haven't seen even any other FMs or anything. So it's a pretty quiet server today. But I'll see you in a bit.